The US may now have been caught misleading the world about its true troop casualties in this war, with fresh claims suggesting the real figure is not just 200 soldiers, but possibly as high as 3,000. A senior Iranian intelligence operative has stepped forward to expose what he describes as the real scale of damage suffered by the US military. Donald Trump has all but acknowledged the strain on America's forces, admitting that he never expected to rely on the US military this heavily.
We have an unbelievable military. We have the most powerful military in the world, and people see that. And I rebuilt it in my first term, and I didn't know I'd have to use it so much in my second term. But the men and women of our military, I pay them my highest love and compliments.
As the conflict drags on, Trump's war is ending up costing the United States enormously, in the lives of its troops, the loss of advanced weapon systems, and in the staggering amounts of cash being burned every single day. Analysts warn that nearly half of key US weapon stockpiles and high-end munitions may have been effectively burned through in this campaign. With public anger rising and the economic burden mounting, many observers believe Trump will pay the real political price for this war at the ballot box. Serious doubts are now being raised over Washington's claim that only 200 American personnel have been affected in the war against Iran, with fresh intelligence suggesting US casualties may be far higher than officially acknowledged. A senior Iranian official spoke to state-run outlet Press TV in a report dated March 17th, offering rare and detailed insights into what Tehran believes is the true scale of US losses. This source shared internal estimates of the damage inflicted on American forces during just the first week of the conflict, outlining a picture of heavy casualties and major equipment losses. According to the official, extra-regional intelligence partners provided Iran with an independent assessment of America's battlefield losses, helping Tehran cross-check its own figures. The most significant finding in this assessment was a severe depletion of air defense stockpiles for both the United States and Israel, raising concerns about their ability to sustain a prolonged conflict. These intelligence reports claim that at least 200 US military personnel were killed and more than 3,000 wounded in the war's opening week alone, far exceeding numbers cited in public American statements. The official further alleged that the United States lost around 150 missile launch platforms and 23 Patriot air defense systems in Iranian strikes and follow-up engagements during that same period. It was also revealed that a total of 37 US aircraft and helicopters were destroyed, suggesting significant damage to American air power and operational capabilities in the region. The information provided by the senior Iranian official directly contradicted a widely circulated American media narrative, highlighting a growing information war over the true cost of the conflict. A report by the Washington Post on March 16 had claimed that roughly 200 US troops have been wounded so far, a figure that falls dramatically short of the casualty estimates coming out of Tehran. Officially, the US military has confirmed that 13 American troops have been killed so far in the Middle East theater, as the war with Iran grinds into its next phase. Earlier in the conflict, a drone strike on a tactical operations center in Kuwait on February 28 killed 6 US personnel, marking one of the deadliest single incidents of the war to date. A 7th American soldier later died from injuries sustained in a separate attack at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, further adding to the growing US casualty toll. Just last week, 6 more American service members were killed when a KC-135 refueling aircraft crashed in Iraq while supporting operations linked to the Iran war. US Central Command has insisted that the crash was the result of an in-air incident involving another aircraft, and has stressed that the loss was not caused by either hostile or friendly fire. Meanwhile, on March 17, the US president openly admitted he had not anticipated relying on military force to this extent in his second term, acknowledging a level of deployment he hadn't foreseen.
We have an unbelievable military. We have the most powerful military in the world, and people see that. And I rebuilt it in my first term, and I didn't know I'd have to use it so much in my second term. But the men and women of our military, I pay them my highest love and compliments. So we did a little excursion, and we're way ahead of schedule, as you probably noticed. And we've had, we knocked out their Navy, their Air Force, their anti-aircraft equipment, their radar, and their leaders. It's been amazing militarily, but it's something that had to be done. Unfortunately, I say, we don't do it with glee.
The United States has reportedly burned through several years' worth of its most critical munitions since the beginning of the ongoing war with Iran, highlighting the immense scale of the conflict's costs. According to a Financial Times report published on March 12, Washington's rapid and relentless use of weapons and ammunition has now triggered urgent discussions within the Pentagon and defense industry circles. The report notes growing concern among officials and analysts over America's ability to replenish its depleted stockpiles, raising serious questions about long-term military readiness in the face of sustained conflict. Among the weapons most heavily used are advanced, long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles, precision systems that play a central role in the U.S. Navy's strike capabilities, but are costly and slow to replace. One defense source quoted in the report warned that the U.S. Navy will likely feel the impact of this munitions expenditure for many years to come, as production and resupply timelines continue to lag behind battlefield needs. With casualties rising and the financial cost of the war mounting, a key question now looms over Washington. Will this conflict come back to haunt Donald Trump at the ballot box in the upcoming midterm elections? The US midterm elections are scheduled to take place on November 3, 2026, setting the stage for one of the most consequential political showdowns in recent history. These midterms will determine which party gains control over both chambers of Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate, shaping the future direction of Washington's policies. At present, Republicans maintain only slim majorities in both chambers, a balance of power that could easily shift depending on how Americans judge the government's handling of the Iran conflict. A quick nationwide poll conducted by Ipsos found that just 27% of Americans currently support the US military's decision to launch attacks against Iran, underscoring deep public skepticism. Even more strikingly, 43% of respondents said they opposed the strikes outright, while 56% believed the president had relied on excessive military force to deal with Tehran. Meanwhile, pressure on Washington continues to mount as surging energy prices and supply disruptions pose major challenges for both consumers and policymakers. In addition, commercial shipping traffic through the vital Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's key oil transit routes, has nearly come to a standstill amid escalating hostilities and naval tensions.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.